Hey Cancerians, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at your first half of July, general reading here. But before I get started, a very happy birthday season to all of you Cancerians. And in your opening meditation, I saw the image. I was immediately taken to like a frozen lake, a really large frozen lake. Kind of felt like Narnia a little bit. And I saw this image of a wolf making its way across the ice, but it was slipping and sliding. And then I saw it stop and its paws kind of sink into the ice a bit, and then it froze and it became sort of like a frozen statue of a wolf. And then I saw a koala, of all creatures, come and sit beside the wolf and just be there, completely happy, content, and at peace. And it was, chewing a piece of bamboo. So what I take from this meditation, wolf energy is very much about instinct, right? It equates to that of the Hierophant in the Tarot, which says that everything is exactly as it's meant to be, right? Koala energy, however, is very much about the inner peace that comes from, regardless of what's happening in my given circumstances, regardless of whatever life may throw at me or what other decisions other people may make that will affect me, I can't control any of that. What I can control is how I respond to it. That is koala medicine. Koala is such a beautiful, beautiful, delicious, highly sought after, valuable energy as an animal totem to come through, because it really is the equivalent of having an injection of inner peace and harmony all of the time. So it's really, really beautiful. The fact that we saw a wolf, right, which is about instinct and moving forward and everything being a certain way, right, and that kind of freezing up, and then we saw a koala seemingly out of place, right, in this frozen tundra, just sitting there completely content, tells me that there may be aspects of your experience where you either feel out of your element, or like you're kind of wondering if things are as they're meant to be, or things feel a bit askew, like you're slipping around on ice, or it's a bit, discombobulating in some way, shape, or form. But the koala, I feel like, is coming through to say, like, actually, don't worry about anything being as it's meant to be or whatnot. The only thing that matters is that you are here, and in any given moment, you have the ability to achieve a sense of inner calm and harmony, just knowing that you're alive and that you're here. And so if you're alive and you're here, then everything will be okay eventually. So why not enjoy the time getting to the okay? So it's really beautiful to come in for you, Cancer's. Really, really beautiful koala energy. Let's go ahead and see what your cards say. Hey, Cancerians. Let's go ahead and see what your animal energy is for the first half of July for your birthday season. Let's see what's going on. Oh, beautiful. Who else got this? Was it Virgo? Someone else got the earthworm. Anyway. Beautiful, beautiful energy here. So this is equates to more than one energy. So the earthworm equates to the Fool in the Tarot, which is, fresh, brand new starts and happy beginnings and taking those leaps of faith, right? The ending of one cycle and the beginning or the possibility of another. It also equates to the Page of Pentacles energy in the Tarot, which is about, forging new roads ahead in terms of your material or physical experience. So learning new things, taking on a new job, switching job locations, reconsidering your career and the path that takes, switching it up in some way, or really deep diving into an area of study that you're encouraged to follow or curious about. But earthworm is so beautiful because it also speaks of after the rainstorm arrives the earthworm. And it's such a beautiful lesson because the earthworm is so vulnerable, right? It's so vulnerable. And yet when you see it after a storm has happened, you can see them just in the middle of a sidewalk, completely vulnerable to any passerby who may not see them and step on them, right? And that takes me to that Brene Brown quote, which I really love and quote ad nauseum, that true strength is vulnerability. And I feel like there's something in that for you as well, because that's also an aspect of the koala, right? Where it's such a strong energy, but not in an overt, you know, carnivorous way. It's strong for a completely different set of reasons. It's not at the mercy of its outer circumstances, right? Internally, it's always in a place of harmony. So it's really beautiful to come up for you in this way. And a beautiful earth energy. You guys are water, and then you have the earth here and the earthworm, which is an earth energy that benefits from water. So it's really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Let's see what's going on. Oh, fascinating, really. So here we have the Nine of Swords. Are you seeing the frozen tundra realness that I am? We saw that frozen landscape. It's so beautifully depicted by these polar bears here as well. And it's interesting because we were talking about, you know, carnivores versus the koala and overt strength versus, you know, embodied internal strength. It's interesting because here we have the largest, you know, land-bound carnivore that there is in the polar bear, and yet it's being depicted in a context which is, some would say, makes it vulnerable. Nine of Swords is about sleeplessness. It's about anxieties and upset that is so strong that it keeps you from your sleep, right? That is not a very comfortable landscape, right? So it's interesting that we've got the mama polar bear here who's awake and then the baby is sleeping away. It's interesting. I feel like in this context for you, remember when I said that there could be aspects of your experience with that frozen Hierophant wolf that feels, you may be asking yourself, am I like where I'm meant to be, or are things actually meant to be this way, or what is going on? Whatever that may be for you. And then we have the Nine of Swords here, which is the exact embodiment of that energy. We're even having like a, you know, a white, like the animal here who comes from a frozen landscape. There's definitely some fear and or anxiety going on right now. And it definitely feels like you can flip this at any given time and choose to be the little polar bear or the koala. And look at this as a time where you can take this Nine of Swords energy and use it to your benefit by allowing yourself to glean insights from your dream time, right? You can either be up at night and worried and fearful and anxious, or you can choose to sleep like the little baby here and just allow whatever wants to come through your subconscious into your conscious state to come through and try to heal, but also process whatever is going on through night work, through your dream time. And what do I mean by that? I mean, before you go to bed at night, you can make a decision and say, you know what, I'm choosing to get rest tonight. In order to do that, I'm going to set an intention before bedtime and say, okay, I would like some confirmation in my dream times, a symbol, a sign, a message that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be and that all is going to be okay. Set that intention before you go to bed. You can even get, you know, like real active about it. Write it on a piece of paper to really physicalize it, and then put it under your pillow, right? And then when you're laying your head down, say, like, ask yourself, an old teacher of mine told me this, and I feel like it's coming up now. When you lay your head down at night, ask yourself this: did I do the best that I could today? If the answer is yes, brilliant, go sleep. There's nothing else to do. If the answer is no, then take time to consider a moment, really. You know, what could I do differently tomorrow? And then go to sleep, right? But this is really about taking ownership of where you are and not allowing those mental anxieties with the swords and the air energy here to really affect you negatively or rule you. Again, back to that koala state where the internal state does not need to be dictated by the outer given circumstances, right? You can't control life, but you can control your response to it. Good God. It's your birthday season, y'all. Come on now. Eight of Swords. From the Nine of Swords to the Eight of Swords. Okay. Eight of Swords is a lot of mental tension. It's a mental prison from which only you hold the key. It's restricted vision. It's not seeing things as they are. It's being in full-fledged fear mode. What's really interesting is how it's depicted in this deck is that we have the owls and the moon. So we're looking again at the nighttime. You know, I feel like this earthworm that comes out after the rain is really a light that's shining over this whole reading, and it's coming out as a messenger to tell you that things are going to change and improve. That until your external circumstances do, take care to your inner state of being, right? There's something about that. You can flip this at any point in time. And I feel like a good way to do that is to just live in the questions and embrace the unknown. When you seem to have more anxiety than comfort or more questions than answers. That's the key. That's the key. All right, let's go down to answers. Okay, perfect. Brilliant. So here we have the Queen of Swords. This is brilliant, and it's a beautiful medicine to come in and comment on this Nine of Swords, Eight of Swords business y'all is entangled in. A bunch of sword energy for a water sign. I must say, you know, Queen of Swords is about, she's the great editor. She takes a dispassionate assessment of things at all times, cuts no corners, doesn't sugarcoat, and just, it's the facts and the figures and the truth, and that is it, right? So she's always fair, and she's always got access to a very clear perspective, which is interesting, because if you look at this here, we've got the three owls here, right? By the way, you guys as Cancers are ruled by the moon. That's your ruling planet. So I like that this is coming in for you in literally every single card you're getting. But it's interesting because it's this swirl of the mind, right? Not seeing things clearly. The moon energy is, you know, what is real, what is not, illusions, anxiety, panic, sleeplessness. And then we have the Queen of Swords coming in with the snow owl here and saying, no, we can see just as clearly at nighttime as we can during the day. That's owl medicine, right? So with this Queen of Swords coming in, it's allowing you access to, you can be in this energy, but really it's about how you come out of it, what you choose to do with it. Can you glean the information that this energy is trying to communicate to you? Right? What is the information here? Right? What is your consciousness or your subconscious trying to tell you? What are shifts that want to be made? What are you being asked to edit? Could it be that whole thing of thoughts or things, and you're being asked to really consider your thought and your mental landscape? Right? Could it be something in your given circumstances or trying to call to your attention? Is your job, you know, creating this energy? Is it time to move on? Is it a relationship? Is it a loss? Is it, you know, fear over the future? What is that? Because it's information that's coming through to you that you're being asked to really assess clearly and dispassionately so you can make some needed changes, edits, and cuts, and then fly on through, right? This doesn't feel like somewhere you want to live. But again, with that koala energy, I'm so grateful that that koala came through for you because it feels like such a beautiful, beautiful medicine. To say, like, this is part of the human experience, right? You're going to feel a myriad of things in this life. But this in particular, these two in particular are choices. These are not major arcanas, these are minors, which means that you can change this, right? And at any given point, you have access and the potential and the ability to calm your mind, right? And find that place of center. You have that ability. Especially, I mean, you're Cancerians. You're Cancerians, which means that your water signs, you're highly intuitive. You're very emotional. You're within your birthday season, right? You have the ability to go within and still those watery emotions for yourself. I also want to say, within the wheel of the year, in the Northern Hemisphere, we are at the time of summer solstice season, right? Which is a time of reflection and really sitting with our emotions and how we feel and being honest about what's going on with our feelings. What's interesting is that you are the most watery of all the water signs, in my opinion, right? You're the Cancers. You are it. So within that, the fact that this is all swords, why are you living so much in your head and not in your heart and feelings? What's going on in there? I'm just having some tea there. What's going on there? Why are you so much in your head? Right? Yes, there's information to be gleaned, but where's the water? Which is really interesting because I saw that lake that was frozen over. And then the swords, that represents winter. Fascinating, Cancers. Let's go ahead and get some advice, shall we? Advice for my Cancerians. Oh, it's so good. Let me get some more tea right quick. Okay. Come here. Look at this. Your advice is the world. How beautiful is that? I love that this is your advice because this speaks of, especially this atoll here, how first of all, it's a landmass in the center of water, which is like so perfect. But the world is very much about a successful completion of a given cycle, success, victory, understanding that endings, yes, are necessary and make way for what? With the earthworm, new beginnings. Look at this mirrored effect. Remember how we talked about this was new paths ahead with the Page of Pentacles, but it was also taking that leap of faith and brand new starts with the Fool energy. And then look at how these are mirroring. Look at that. Both circles, both cycles, right? Now with this, the world is your advice, especially in this context. I'm hearing to keep that perspective in check, darlings. And that is the key to happiness. That is the key to a calm and happy mind. Realizing that it's really just how you see things that dictates your experience, right? This is someone in an airplane looking way down below at this atoll versus if they were in a boat just going by, they'd only be able to see this bit of it. They wouldn't be able to see the bigger picture. But what's fascinating about this as well is that, again, you're a water sign with a lot of air energy here. And then we have you in the clouds looking down at the water. Fascinating. So even though this is a time to balance your feelings and connect with them, it's also a really good opportunity with this Queen of Swords coming in here to take that dispassionate assessment, edit where needed, and see things clearly. That feels like rather the whole point, seeing clearly. Look at that repeated pattern of seeing clearly with all these owls and these swords and the moonlight, right? And then we have the advice, the aerial view, the bird's eye perspective, seeing things clearly. And I feel like this is also a message from Spirit saying, remember that confirmation that you wanted, that you're exactly where you're meant to be and that all is well, and you have it here with the world. This cycle, just like other cycles, will come to a natural conclusion and end. You're being asked to, you know, take ownership of your thoughts, take ownership of your situation, and know that with edits and with intention come clarity, right? And perspective. You got this, Cancers. Let's go ahead and get an oracle. Which one? You know what? I feel like I have a couple of oracle decks here, but I feel like getting your advice from the Akashic Tarot. So let's do it. Let's get oracle 4. Oh, this is so good. I'm so glad we did this. Okay. So here we have the King of Roses. I did grab this as your oracle. I really felt like it. And I'm really glad that I did because the King of Roses is such a beautiful energy. This equates to the King of Cups, which is you in your masculine form. But I want you to see this fella and see how he's considering the flowers before him. And he's really taking time to what? Stop and smell the roses. This is really about appreciating what in your given circumstances is going well, what you do have to be grateful for, and understand that there's always an opportunity and an ability, right, to appreciate what is right in front of you. And that also is the key to a healthy perspective and a happy inner state, right? It's really beautiful. King of Roses. You know, this also speaks of emotional balance as well. And I'm getting a special note here. Please don't be afraid to talk to someone or share with someone that you know and trust. Really, you know, opening up to them and saying like, this is what's going on. Can you help me see clearly? Because the King of Roses is very much someone who is reliable, who's a really great listener, who gives really great advice, right? So you are being encouraged and welcome to do that as well. To just say, hey, like, can you just hear me? Just hear me out. And maybe with some help, you can assume that Queen of Swords position as well. I feel like it's both things. I feel like it's doing it with and for yourself, but I feel like it's also, you know, knowing who to share with and talk to help you see the, you know, forest through the trees, as it were, right? Or the trees through the forest. Yeah, it's forest through the trees. Really beautiful. I actually want to get you just another one. I'm going to get you one of these feathered messengers. With all this air energy here. Oh my gosh. I just got shivers. This is so beautiful. So you got the Wren. Be bold and confident. Use all of your resources to create your dreams. That's really brilliant because I feel like we're talking here about talking to someone, getting it off your chest, setting that intention before bedtime, you know, talking about that editing system. Be bold and confident. Use all of your resources to create your dreams. Boldness and confidence. When we're looking at the Nine of Swords and the Eight of Swords, not so bold and confident, but you can do the work around that to achieve a greater perspective and clarity, right? Into the Queen of Swords. I feel like the Queen of Swords is working in tandem with this Wren. Be bold and confident. Use all your resources to create your dreams. Remember what I said when all of this was trying to get your attention around something, what's not quite working? And this is a beautiful, beautiful, you know, way to look at it and say that you are always in a position to create the life that you truly desire. And if you are feeling upset or confused, or there's a lot of mental tension or a lot of stuff that's keeping you up at night, that is your subconscious and or your higher self trying to get your attention for changes that need and want to be made so that you can create your dreams and the life that you dream of. It's interesting that we have dreams here as well, and we're talking about sleeplessness. But this, Cancers, you absolutely have got this. There's a really beautiful energetic potential on the other side of you stepping into a Queen of Swords position and really, you know, embracing all the resources that you have at your disposal and really achieving that healthy perspective and balance. It's really, really beautiful. So that being said, my beautiful Cancerians, I'm wishing you so many blessings and a very happy birthday season. I so hope this helps and resonates. If so, please do let me know in the comments below. I absolutely love reading your comments. And with that being said, just thank you. Thank you so, so much for being here. And most of all, and as always, thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.